hey, we renovated our basement. I've done this. What? Okay, great. That's fantastic. That's going to help me give you a better CMA, but it's not going to be as good of a CMA as you're going to get if I'm invited into your property. And the only way to get there is to nurture that relationship first.
Welcome LabCoatAgents and those who are directly with us on the Zoom webinar. Pretty excited to be here again with Marcus and Logan. And today we're going to talk about something that I really love, and that's tech. And really, as we push forward into 2022, how are we going to use that tech? And again, another one of my favorite words, leverage. So what are we going to do to leverage tech, things like StreetText, and Marcus and Logan will talk about some other things as well to get more listings in 2022. Just a couple administrative things. If you're watching this and you're like, wow, this is amazing content, which I hope that's what you're going to say at the end of this, and you want to watch it again, we will put it on the LabCoat YouTube channel, and we will also have a special offer for you today, as we always do. So, stick in for that. If you're not currently a StreetText member, there's going to be a great opportunity to try it at a very huge discount. So with all that in mind, let me pass over to Marcus. Marcus, what's your thoughts on how we're going to do this, and how are we going to take this tech and leverage it for 2022?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for that. I think the take a step backwards and kind of just reimagine what you're wanting to accomplish in 2022, and also consider that we're in this day and age where everything is kind of shifting virtually. Obviously, we're all here. We're tuned into Zoom. We're tuned into Facebook Live. So I always think of it from the perspective of your leads that you're looking to generate, or people you're looking to get in front of. Where are they spending the most time? Number one, because that's where you want to be. And then number two, how do you effectively create that opportunity of connection? Authentic, genuine connection, not something that feels like they've been bait and switched or led somewhere else. So Facebook and Instagram is kind of a place where we all know people just spend a lot of time scrolling. Lots and lots of time. I think Ira was saying something like we all grab our phones thousands of times a day now. We spend time on social media anywhere from an hour to 2 hours a day, and some of us longer because we work within Facebook. And so if we know that people are just scrolling on Instagram, they're scrolling on Facebook, how do you stop that scroll for that moment? And when that scroll is stopped, how do they go from thinking they're getting something instantly, because we're all in this instant gratification world, seconds. You have literally seconds to grab their attention. So if they go from a subconscious scroll, I like to, we talk about this as called digital door knocking, or another concept, Brian, that you love is interruption-based marketing.
Absolutely, right? I do love
interruption.
That. I've stolen it, by the way.
Yeah. So if we're gonna interrupt that thought pattern of like, hey, I'm just here on Facebook because I'm bored and looking at all the Halloween pictures of all my friends and to clicking on an ad. Let's just say the ad says, "What's your home really worth?" I'm like, ooh, I want to know what my home's worth right now. I've heard my neighbor's got a really good price for theirs. I'm gonna click on this. And then instantly they think they're going to have this interpretation of their home value on the other side. Or let's say the message is different. It's, single family homes in Beverly Hills with a pool. I'm just making it up. Or, download your 12 seller tips. Whatever it is, they want it now.
Absolutely.
Right? So genuinely speaking, if you're going to create a relationship with that person who just gave you their information, and it doesn't matter how much they've given you something, then it's all about that connection on the other side. And so the passion that I have, and I know Logan has as well, is everybody who is used to traditional lead generation spends a lot of money fighting with everybody else to get that lead who's qualified today, who's ready to buy, who's ready to sell today. But what they're missing the mark on is that if you were just to shift to the top of the funnel, which is where no one's competing, and you generating leads that everybody can have within the 15-mile radius, because if you don't know Facebook and Instagram, you're held to a 15-mile minimum radius with the targeting, naturally kind of forces you out of your comfort zone. Naturally, you're actually having to shift your influence. And naturally, it's all about value and giving and really this genuine connection with somebody that positions you as a consultant, someone there to serve, and not someone to not selling. You're not selling anything. And if you're selling something, especially if you leave that into an interpretive process, which most people do, they start with generating leads, and then they're quickly realizing that people are unsubscribing on their follow-up, or they're getting like F-bombs back at them, or some explicit language, or whatever, or their defense mechanisms come up right away and say, oh, I was just curious. Naturally, that's because the first impression they had of you wasn't one that was genuine, that you were looking to help and serve.
I want to add something just real quickly onto that. And it's the kind of what this whole conversation is largely going to be about, which is leveraging tech. And it's a shifting mindset and mentality first and foremost. It's the understanding that, like exactly like Marcus is saying, these aren't always going to fall into your lap. These aren't leads that are going, hey, I want to sell my home today. Let me go on Facebook and find the first agent's ads and just tell them that they can have my business. That's not going to happen. Does it happen? Okay, maybe it does. Is it going to be an expectation? Certainly not. So if that is your expectation, that's what kind of dissuades people from running ads on Facebook long-term is, hey, I've been running these ads for 3 weeks and I haven't even had a deal yet. I haven't even had a conversation. Oh, Facebook isn't for me. Well, that's where that mentality mindset needs to shift. And you need to understand, exactly like Marcus is saying, the leads that you're generating today aren't tomorrow's leads. They're next month's leads. They're next quarter's leads, right? So you're going to want that deal when they're ready. They're not ready when you're ready. You need to be ready when they are. So that's where leveraging these, automations and all the tech that's available to you is so darned important, because again, it's not a one-touch cycle. It's not a 3-day cycle. This is a long-term game plan. So, somebody comes in today, it's not because they're ready to sell their home tomorrow or in 3 months. They might not have any idea when they want to sell their home, but there was something there that made them investigate whatever my call to action was. Do you want to know what your home's worth? Do you want this? Do you want that? Whatever it is, there was something there that made them go, you know what? I do want that. That shows me that they're interested. They put their hand up. Again, their hand's not up because, hey, I'm ready to sell my home. No, I need to be ready when they're ready. So this is why we're always talking about, 8 to 12 touches. Again, speed to lead, 8 to 12 touches. These are all buzzwords and things that you guys have heard in the real estate industry year after year after year after year. But again, if your first touch is no good, what's the likelihood of them, for lack of a better word, allowing you to continue touching them, right? They're unsubscribing. If my first email to them is lacking of personality, I don't care how great the mechanism is long-term. I don't care what the messaging is long-term. They're not going to receive it. And by the time 3 months, 6 months, 8 months comes down the road and they're ready to sell their home, they're out of your ecosphere. They're back to doing whatever it is. And most likely somebody else has already acquired their information because they didn't get what they were expecting from you. And they're still clicking on ads and doing all this other stuff. And if somebody else has offered more personality, more of what they thought they needed, that's the direction they're going. So I'd say the first thing that we want to talk about would be it used to be the option of, or the importance of, it's now become the necessity of video in your first email. And I know this is something that Marcus is incredibly passionate about, so I'll pass the torch back over. But I just wanted to start by everybody having an understanding that it's not just okay, maybe I could send video to people. No. If you're not sending video to people, you are now in the bottom 10%. That's just the way it is. 3 years ago, we were saying, hey, you should do video so you're in the top, 10%. You're not doing video, you're in the bottom. Absolutely. And you don't have to be the best on video. You don't have to be the best looking, the most charming, none of those things. You have to be a real person. I don't care if you have an accent. I don't care if you have anything. It doesn't matter. You have to be a real person. And people just need to have that feeling like, oh, this is a real person. Even if that doesn't get them to respond, even if that doesn't get them to cross the line, that's fine. That offers you the opportunity to send them another email. Hopefully, again, through automations, and you just keep dripping on them and warming them up further and further and further until they, that when they're ready and that your messaging to them just lines up. Maybe it's day 1, maybe it's month 3, maybe it's a year down the road. But you need to be consistent and have systems in place and deliver the right messaging at the right time. Marcus, anything you want to add on that?
No, I mean that's well said. Take it in baby steps. It's in the beginning. I think the problem I have is that people overcomplicate it. They overthink it. Naturally, if you knocked on someone's door and you wanted to introduce yourself, how would you present yourself? Because if
Hey, do
it's
you want to sell your house? That's not going to happen, right?
yeah, right, they're like crash, crash right in front of your
And you're not
face.
going to show up with a mustard stain on your collar, and you're also not going to show up in a 25-piece suit, right? You're not showing up in a tux, so you don't need to overdress on your videos either, right?
It's exactly the same. So I like to say we've done a lot of BombBomb webinars, and BombBomb seems to be like the most popular video email software out there. They're all always alternatives, but we just like BombBomb because they've been around in the industry for so long. Now, that being said, the experience that you want to set the moment that person, because let me like give you a visual, number one, so you understand what we're talking about here, because it helps kind of identify what they're seeing. And let's go into a quick visual of an ad into the experience of why you would want to use video. So I'm in Linnea Carver's account, and I like Linnea because she's got a really genuine, authentic autoresponder, as well as a lot of video integration. But the idea is they see an ad, and we have so many takes and variations of what ad images you should run, and that's a whole nother discussion that Logan can talk about. But ad imagery and text copy stop the scroll, and it's always got to be native, organic to that 15-mile region. You can see here clearly that all four of these pictures really talks about where that location is, particularly in that 15-mile audience. The ad itself is saying, what's your home really worth? Enter your address to receive your home value. You're gonna stop a lot of scrolls, people surfing their little phones and on Facebook, because they see an easy click option. All I got to do is enter my address to receive my home. Yeah, why not? And so they do that with that in mind. They click analyze my property. This in itself is a very easy process because it populates automatically. And so in that moment in time, the rubber hits the road. A lot of these people who thought they were getting an instant market value drop out. The address is already collected, and we have so many clever ways of creating a personal touch, whether it's personal notes or, you guys all have systems, Spokio, True People Search, mechanisms for address onlys. We won't talk about that right now, because what we're talking about is if you have primarily a minimum of an email submission, which is this next capture. As a consumer, as a homeowner, I've recognized that I've just given you email permission to receive my property valuation by email. So that's the moment in time where if you read that person, no matter what happens, because of course we want the condition of the house, we want to know about the age and updates and renovations. We want to see if they're ready to sell immediately or just curious. Most people will be just curious because it's a defense mechanism. That doesn't mean anything. So that doesn't mean anything. Once they click next here, if they get to that place, they can submit a phone number and I can learn more about Linnea, read a Facebook review and so forth. But no matter what in that process, that email was already collected a couple steps ago. And so you'll have people who fall out after the email, and in this moment, it doesn't matter. They still get this opportunity to connect with that lead who just provided an address and email, maybe nothing else. So at this moment in time, this is your digital door knocking opportunity. This is how you present yourself authentically. This is where you have to create communication style that starts with empathy, then moves into value, and then a question or two that would only enhance the value that they're going to get. Because really, the empathy would be the connection to that person thinking it was an instant market value. Like, hey, I can only imagine you just clicked on this ad thinking you were getting a home value instantly. Now you have the opportunity because you got them. At that moment, they're like, oh, I did. I thought this was an automatic home value. Now they're as you clearly communicate what's about to happen to drive more value their way, that becomes your opportunity to connect with them. And if they like that experience, if they feel the authenticity in it, they're more likely to respond. And then naturally, it's just a product of their time frame and aligning with asking the right questions that feels more about helping and serving. and addressing what they're looking for than it is about simply just asking if there's any updates or renovations that I should know of. Right? Everybody asks that. But how do you connect with that person emotionally to get them to talk about the memories they've had, the experiences that they had in their home, and why or what they're looking to accomplish with what could be the greatest asset or equity they have in their life. So yeah, no, it's a fun conversation, but everybody has to start there, because if you naturally learn how to win friends and influence people and build rapport, psychology 101 type stuff, then lead generation of this kind, or database building and relationship building of this kind, is the fruit of your future. This is going to be your future ROI. You have anything to add to that, Logan?
I would just say that, again, it starts with an understanding of who you are and who you're trying to acquire and attract. We realize that, everybody who joins StreetText is looking for essentially the same thing, but they need to get there a different way. It's not a rubber stamp. With lead generation, with leveraging tech, with all these things, there's not necessarily a very simple pathway for all to follow. It's a deep understanding of who you are, and again, the people that you're trying to attract. So again, just having automations, just having drip campaigns, just having all those things, it's not good enough. It's an understanding of, okay, who are the kind of people that I connect better with? And in my own real estate career, my real estate partner was the polar opposite of me, and that was by design. He was an individual that was statistically driven. Everything was dollars and cents, and he was a human calculator. My downfall, right? For me, emotionally relational. That's always been my style. If you're not ready to buy or sell a home with me, that's fine. But hopefully I can, initiate a conversation and initiate a relationship. You become, to depend on me for information. I become a trustworthy source of information. I used to have people, before they even buy and sell a home from me, reach out to me and ask me all sorts of information for, hey, do you know any good contractors? Do you know good painting services? Do you know whatever? Because they learned to trust me. And it started with the very first conversation. It was never, hey, let me sell your home. You want to sell your home? I'm the one who wants to sell that home for you. No. It's, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How does your home make you feel? And I always say that, with some caution, because you don't want to say, how does your home make you feel? But you want to get that answer. So what I like to do whenever I ask people questions, especially in my autoresponders, first, and I can give you guys my script here in a sec, where I would, lay out who I am and what my goals are and everything like that. But the questions that I start by asking, my first two questions that I always ask my potential homeowners isn't, tell me more about the asset. Tell me about how that asset makes you feel. And again, I'll put this in the right way, because that sounds a little, weird at first, but I like to ask the questions of, what's your favorite feature of this home? And if you could change any one thing, what would that be? Because if I start the conversation on the statistics side, hey, tell me the square footage, what's finished? Is your basement finished? Can we add that in? Have you renovated these things? It's not as pleasant of a conversation. I'm getting the stats that I need, fair, but I can get that after I've developed a relationship. And my goal isn't to just get in and sell that home. My goal is to develop a relationship, so I get invited into their home. I don't want to get them to give me all the information on their properties just so I can give them a better, paper CMA that I'm, sending in the mail or sending by email. No, I want to, inch closer to an actual relationship. So they say, hey, so you're telling me you need to be in my home to give me a proper valuation? Well, that sounds fair. I've become to, I trust you now. Where you get what I'm saying. It's really important to nurture the relationship first. So again, when I get those questions answered, right? Tell me your favorite feature of your home currently. And they tell me, well, it's my double-sided fireplace where, my wife nursed all three of our kids in front of, right? I mean, granted, that's a pretty softball answer, but that would be fantastic. That's the kind of answer I want, because if they go on to tell me nothing but, hey, we renovated our basement, I've done this. Okay, great. That's fantastic. That's going to help me give you a better CMA, but it's not going to be as good of a CMA as you're going to get if I'm invited into your property. And the only way to get there is to nurture that relationship first, right? Sale comes second, relationship first, always. And that's something that's incredibly important. So it's, again, you may not be the same agent as me, right? You may be a little bit more when somebody, talks numbers and stats. That's when I shine. Great. That's what you need to leverage. That's what you need to lean into, because it's going to be different. So it's first, again, it's an understanding of who you are. And when you find the right client, the perfect client, what's that client? What are they? And then we can kind of reverse engineer things and help you find more people who think on that same wavelength, and really, again, leverage your technology, leverage what you already have at your disposal, right?
And I want to piggyback on what you guys said real quick. One of the other things I know that you guys really focus on is answering the question. And here's what I mean by that. If I ran an ad that said the 12 things I should do to list my house, I shouldn't call that person and go, do you want to list your house? You should talk about the 12 things, or make sure they get that report, or, what's my home's value? So answer the call to action. They signed up for it because the call to action, make sure that you're addressing that. And I feel like you guys were saying that indirectly, but I just wanted to direct, because everyone's going to create their own version of content. So, but step one is always, to me, make sure you're giving them what you promised, because the quickest way to unsubscribe is you say one thing on your ad and then you give them the complete opposite, or something has nothing to do with it. Now you're inauthentic. So
The old bait and switch, Brian. Yeah.
absolutely. It's bait and switch. And how many times people called up, 12 things to sell my house. Great. When do you want to sell your house? I don't want to sell my house. I just wanted to know what I had to do if I wanted to. So absolutely.
This is the idea of playing kind of 3D chess, as well as you're playing chess against an advanced opponent. You need to be 5 moves ahead, right? So when we do ads that are like, the 12 tips that you need to know, or things you need to expect, whatever, there's a greater purpose for that, because like what you're saying, the first people that those are going to attract aren't the tomorrow's sales. Those are absolutely people going like, okay, well, whoa, I just wanted 12 tips, chill out. Like, just, let's start there. So, but the idea is we want to get them to the home valuation, but we find that sometimes with some people, that 12 tips, it feels like less pressure. The same people who might not click on my home valuation ad originally are absolutely clicking on this. So that's great. But that's where, again, leveraging your technology and automations is so darned important. And what we do is that when you build that 12 tips ad, we send drip campaigns to these individuals immediately that stack value. So what is the next angle? Well, I want to get their address. I want to get invited to their home. I want to do a home valuation. So that's what we do, is we say, do you want the 12 tips to expect before selling your home? They say, yep. We send them an email that includes the 12 tips. So it's not a bait and switch. They absolutely got what they came for, but there's a further offer embedded in there. One of the 12 tips would be to get a professional home valuation done, something we offer completely free of charge. We can do so sight unseen, of course, but understand that's only going to be a, subpar valuation. Word it better than that, of course, but that's the general idea, is you're not going to get what you actually wanted.
Yeah.
Right. So if you were to respond back to me here with your address and a couple questions, tell me about how your home makes you feel, whatever, however you want to word those questions, respond back to this and we'll get you started on what's next. Because there's always a what's next. Every time they give you something, they got to get something back. But before they get something, I need something from them. There's just this reciprocal kind of, process that needs to be there. And it's just always offering them something additional. And there's so many services that you guys have at your disposal to offer these people to just continuously stack value.
Love it.
There's not one way to do it. I'll be honest. Like, Logan and I, for example, are completely 2 different people. What's like in the way we follow up, even with our StreetText leads, completely unique and just as effective for each one of us. Logan loves texting. I love Facebook Messenger, right? I'm all about video and voice. I leave no room for interpretation, because body language and tonality is key. But I also understand that if you're not authentic to who you are and your personality doesn't really range, you can't give someone a script and expect them to follow it. You can show them different ideas and show them many examples of different people following up with leads. But at the end of the day, it's got to be genuine, authentic to you. And if it doesn't feel that way to that person, it's not going to work. And so one of the best things I always tell people, and that we've kind of discovered, Josh only spoke about this the other day, is StreetText, for example, provides you with a 9-month-long drip campaign. What you should always consider is, if an automatic email is going to go out, if an automatic text is going to go out, why don't you read it to yourself out loud? Read it to yourself out loud and ask yourself, would I say this? Does this feel genuine? Does this, and better yet, give that lead capture to as many people as you trust as possible that would give you honest, constructive feedback. Because you have to find that way of ultimately connecting with somebody. So let me again share with this example, and I'm going to be able to share sound. Let me know if you guys can hear that here. So this is authentic to Linnea, right? And so this is her. You know, what I like about it, from the moment, we also got to consider not everyone is going back to their inbox and having the ability to actually watch that video at that moment. They might be busy. They might not have access to audio. A million different things can happen, or they just get to it later. So at the very minimum, when they go to kind of seek that home value in this case, in their inbox, at least in that very moment, they see this little GIF that kind of brings Linnea's personality to life. They can see she's outside. It's not, in some fabricated room where she's dressed up to the T, and it's obviously scripted. It's genuine. It's 37 seconds long, which is not too long. We like to say 20 to 45 seconds, at least for the first impression, is a good solid intro when no one has ever met you before. And then, so let's just click on it and just, see what she has to say. And again, this is just hers. You can think of it for yourself.
Hello. You are looking for your home value? And I am on it. My name is Linnea Carver, and before I get started, I wanted to check and see if there are any improvements that you've made to your home or to the property, any upgrades that I can't see online. If so, just reply to this email with any of the details. It will be important to know those to ensure that the report I'm working on for you is a fair assessment. If you want to get to know me, just follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. The links are below. So anyway, I'm going to get to work. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Simple. One of the other things I really love about it is she says, thanks for checking out my Facebook home valuation ad. I'm going to get to work to putting together a list of recent sales in your area with homes similar to yours and give you a ballpark figure. It's a little bit unique and different than most people do there. So she changed that up ever so slightly. And then one more thing I want to add to this, because there's a lot of people that won't respond. They'll enjoy it. You can actually, and this is where tracking becomes important. This tracking that you see even in my inbox will show you who's opening, who's watching videos. This is an extension of Google Chrome. Who's clicking on links, if I have links that I want them to click on. But one of the big things that we love featuring with some of our most successful clients is when they go in there having, as we talked about, reading some of these automatic drip email campaigns that are going out, and then start looking at these and saying, okay, what can I do to put my hands on this? So they'll go to day 4, and this will naturally go out, and they'll start making it theirs. They'll go to a day 7, which is not even there. They'll be like, okay, I'm going to add in my own day on top of this. This day is going to be called the value of community, and they'll go in there and show how they're interviewing a coffee shop owner locally. Little things like that presents them as more than just someone trying to sell, but a community leader, someone who gives back, and then so forth. And she's gone and added in 12 tips, and there's so much to do on that ongoing nurture. So what you're looking to do is you're supposed to value add along the way, because they may not be ready to chat with you today, but 6 touches later, 10 touches later, they've been sticking through, looking at all your cool, very much value added automations, and they're saying, yeah, this person is genuine. She is genuinely looking to serve me and give me great information. And you nudge your significant other and you say, this is the person I want to go with. Let's give them a call. And out of the blue, you get some random call, you've done everything you could to get in conversation with them early in that process, but they weren't ready. So that's what you have to be prepared for with the top of funnel. Yes, you will get people that are ready to go today. That happens, but that's the exception. Whenever we see someone get a deal right off the first 7 days in trial with StreetText, we all are excited for them, but at the same time, we're like, oh, now what? Now they're going to be thinking this is something that's going to happen every week. No, it's one of those things where you'll find the biggest fruit of your labor with, it's a love labor, is going to be, the longer you stick with it. The longer you stay with StreetText, the more you're able to see people like Janky Patel, LabCoatAgent moderator, right? Who've done 60 more deals with StreetText. What are they doing? How long? What's their process like? Do they have ISAs, VAs, or are they a one-person agent? And if you are, you better be ready to leverage video because you can't be everywhere all the time. Just some thoughts there, but they're big picture thoughts. And this is why you don't look at a solution like Facebook, especially on the lead generation side, and say it's just about generating leads. That's the easy part, and we feel like we're pretty good at it. What about your process? What about your integrations? What about your automations? What about your, there's so many parts of this. There's the AI, there's the autoresponders, there's the email drip, there's the SMS, there's scripts and strategies, there's the systems that you already have that you need to integrate inside, and so forth. So you got to always think about it as it's a moving piece, and sometimes you're focusing on one of those moving pieces, but over time, you somewhat become an expert of it.
And we're talking about leveraging technology, and the first thing that, we don't necessarily think of, Facebook groups, LabCoatAgents, our insider group. We don't see those as technology, but they absolutely are. They're groups and they're things that weren't available back then, back in the day, the good old days, so to speak. And it's something that needs to be leveraged now. Leverage community. Leverage what's happening, what's working for other people, because again, there's so many tools and tips and tricks and things that we've been uncovering over the years. And we scream it from the rooftops, but it's not until people come to the group settings and start picking up on things like HomeBot, something that we've known of for a couple of years now. And we've been telling people, anybody who would listen to us, hey, you got to do this HomeBot thing. You got to do this HomeBot thing. It's fantastic. BombBomb we've been talking about for about 4 years plus, easy. And so people bringing their good ideas into communities like LabCoatAgents, like our StreetText Insider Group, like our mastermind, and sharing their idea, it's essentially like taking a half-formed flower, right? You're not done yet, but you've taken a nugget, a good idea, and you put it out to a community of like-minded individuals who, out of 100 people, 50 of them may like it, 50 might not. 20 of them might go, hey, I could do this somewhat better. Great. That's the idea. Bring your great ideas. It's not the scarcity mindset just isn't what's necessary this day and age. It's coming from a place of abundance and knowing that there's so many leads, there's enough for all of us. Is it still true that 10% do 90% of the deals? Maybe, sure. But does that need to be the way it is? Absolutely not. I think that if everybody bands together and works together and shares what's working for them, you'd be surprised at what comes back. Like, for instance, I shared, this is 5 years ago now, I came up with we called it the Zulia script. We're not really recommending it the same way as we were before, but the new iterations that I've seen our clients come back with that are in that same vein, but so much better than my original idea ever was. It's so heartening to see. For instance, the Zuli approach, if anybody, isn't familiar with what we used to, teach, it was the idea of basically being the internet's best guess. That was the verbiage I used, right? So it was like, hey, I can't give you your actual home's value, but I can certainly start with the internet's best guess. Here is my assumption, but here's what Zillow, Realtor.com, and whatever else, three valuation sites. Now, I'm sure you've already checked those value sites, right? But here it is. I'm the Trivago of online values. That's the general idea of it, was to make it easier on you guys to just go in and give them what they already know, but then to not bait and switch. You asked me for something. Well, I gave you the best version of what I could. Now, this is for mainly, it was really good for mailers, right? They only gave me your address. Well, this is all I could give you back. And here's, the 3 most reputable sources for your information. However, the internet has no idea what your home is really worth. And the only way to get a truly accurate valuation is to yada, yada, yada. Now, it was the template that I had provided was very bare bones and very basic and boring. It worked really well for quite a while, for quite a few people. Then we started seeing people going like, I wonder if I could, jazz this up a little bit. And we had one guy put it in a really nice mailer with an image of the individual's home, and he changed the verbiage and he put a couple other little things on the page. And again, not my original vision. Completely the opposite of my original vision, but I loved it. It was so much better. So from that point forward, that was the version I was sharing with people, and people were liking that for a while. And again, that's just kind of what happened. People started doing their own versions and different iterations of that same angle. That's what wins. Get together with the right community of like-minded individuals, be open and honest and share what's working, share what's not working. And it's the same reason as, again, StreetText here, why one of the reasons we've been so successful is we don't have 10 clients or 100 clients, right? We're not building, 10 ads a day and spending, thousands of dollars a day. We're spending a ton of money collectively as a database, and we're helping to build a database. We're helping to build this knowledge base so that when you join StreetText, it's not, okay, I heard this ad is doing good, or I think I should do this. No. You come in and you look at the numbers. You look at the platform driven numbers and you say, okay, click to contact rate. What does that mean? Okay, well, we'll explain to you what it means, but that's the one that you're looking for. You're paying for clicks on Facebook. So for instance, what Marcus is showing us here, go to the conversion, the seller's property valuation conversion for me a little bit down. So on the left there, on the kind of in the middle on the left, what you can see is in the last 30 days, it's a little bit small in terms of text, but I'll do my best to explain this to you. So we're looking at 33,918 ads have been created from this template alone. Those ads collectively have gathered just over 2 million clicks. Now, what does that mean? That means with the average click, let's say costing between $2 and $4 a click, that means Facebook has made a ton of money off this. Great. What do we care if Facebook makes money? If Facebook's listening, Facebook, I love you. But no, we don't really care if Facebook makes money. We want to make sure that you guys are making money, that you guys are turning these into opportunities. So the number I care about is not the number of clicks, nor is it the number of ads. It's the next line down, click to contact ratio. So of those 2 million clicks that, they've clicked, you've paid for that click. What is the percentage of those clicks that are resulting in a lead being captured? You're not paying for leads, you're paying for clicks, right? So this is important. If we look at that, we know that this ad type with this conversion method, with everything, all the plugins, everything in the back end, nationwide, North America wide, these are the results that we're getting. Now, if you scroll down a little bit further and go to the exact same ad for me, Marcus, but the traffic objective, just down a little bit further. Page post is fine too. We can use page post. It's going to be the same thing. So you see that one here on the right-hand side. Now it says seller's property valuation, page post. There's another one for traffic, but the idea is, well, there's a traffic's right above it. Perfect. Right there. So the idea is there are on the traffic one above it, there's 742 people that didn't listen to us in the last 30 days and have still run one of these ads, regardless of what we're saying. Now, of those 742 ads, 90,000 clicks. That's a lot of clicks still. For 700 ads, that's a lot of clicks. But what does that mean to my clients? 19% click to contact ratio. And again, we can go way down the weeds as to why you use conversion instead of traffic or page post or any of the other objective types. But do you care? Do you care? Like I'm fully happy to sit down with everybody and explain the algorithm and explain the ins and outs of everything. But for most of my interactions, people don't care. Hey, Logan, is this going to work better or not? Not this one's better, right? So that's the idea is follow the numbers. Look at what the community has shown you, right? So you don't come in and you start at the first rung of the ladder. You come halfway up the ladder already. You're already halfway there. That's kind of the idea. So leverage community. And if you're unsure as to what's going on around or what's going to work best, come to the mastermind, come into the LCA group, ask questions of the people around you, and you'll find the level of collaboration is something that I just haven't seen in all my years of real estate, both what I see in the LCA group and what I know we do on a daily basis on our side. The level of collaboration with the people who will come to these meetings, it's something that needs to be leveraged. It's something that you need to harness the power of community, and don't ever forget that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll second that because StreetText on the surface appears to be just lead generation, but what we are is we help you put your entire solution together. So, a lot of people don't understand that it's the ad, the image, the copy, and then the objective that when working together produce the most phenomenal click to contacts that you've ever seen in terms of social media is concerned. And then it's leveraging those automations to present yourself in a way that's genuine and authentic. But then it's also the conversion side of this comes down to aligning yourself with systems, integrations like BombBomb and HomeBot and all these things that you already have, even your CRMs that you already have, whether it's through Zapier or email parsing, to put those together so you can work smarter, not harder. Smarter, not harder, right? Scale. It's all about scale and leveraging. And then the mastermind pulls it all together, because in the mastermind on Wednesdays, that features the StreetText community and shows you how collaborative everybody is. You know, even in the same markets, like places like Vegas, we end up having StreetText people come together and share. And in some cases, they actually start doing life together. They start doing fitness classes. I've had a couple of where they just joined on the same team because of the great interaction that is occurring within the masterminds. You got the ad help and performance reviews. So there's always someone there to help set your ad up, or say, hey, no, this is not what you're looking for. Let's try something else, and set up a new ads with you. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where there's always access. And then the community, just like you guys are very aware of LabCoatAgents, this is where you find everything. And I love this stuff, because if you go into your Facebook community and you're like, oh, let's just see how people are doing. Well, here's a perfect post. I don't want to try out I want to try out StreetText, but I don't want to give it 600 for 3 months. 85 comments later, people, sharing with you why that's just not a good argument. And then you start looking at all these people who are winning, and the best part about it is it's not the actual testimonial of, hey, I've gotten these deals with StreetText. It's the comments below them that tell you exactly what they did to get that testimonial. So,
absolutely. Hey guys, we got about 3 minutes left, and I just want to, I'm playing moderator here. So if anybody has questions, we're answering a couple right now as we go in the chat. But if you have other questions, please put them in the chat or in the Q&A. We'd love to answer these guys with that in mind. With just a couple minutes before, what other kind of final thoughts do you guys have if we don't get any questions here? So.
Q&A is my favorite part, so hopefully we get some good questions. I love answering, questions that we weren't prepared for. That's always fun.
I like
that.
Sure.
For me, again, it's remembering again, you're not on an island here. We feel like we are at times, especially what we've kind of gone through the last year and a bit here. Is it's a lot easier to wear your sweatpants to work because you're not leaving your house, right? But understand with technology, with what we have at our disposal now, you don't have to go this alone. Join the right community, join the right people, the people who have your back, the people who want to work with you. You can meet people through all these new technologies that keep current, keep you where you want to go, and then again leverage those technologies to meet people. I was just dealing with one of my other clients. He's a long-term client of ours, and Jordan, if you're on here, good luck to you. He just broke his foot, or broke his ankle, and he can't walk on it for 2 months. Doctor says no weight, nothing. So how's he going to do listing appointments? And he lives in an area where it gets snowy. Right. So leverage technology. So that's kind of what we're getting into, is virtual meetings, virtual showings, virtual home valuations. There's ways to leverage technology to help you with whatever you're looking for. Just reach out and ask if you have questions. And if you're in the right community, you'll get the right answers.
Cool. All right. So 2 questions that we've got here. Is there a way to use StreetText to post on Instagram? Was one of the questions that we had.
Yep. Both Facebook and Instagram with just one click.
There you go. It's not, you don't even have to understand why or how, it just kind of happens, right? And again, if you guys want to understand the ins and outs, like Logan said, he'll explain that to you. Or if you're kind of like me, just show me how to do it, and I don't care how it works. That's kind of where I fall. And I think there's a lot of realtors out there got so much other stuff to worry about. Other question, and I think we've kind of talked about this, but I'll just bring it up for the group as a whole. And this is from the Facebook. Is there an address only focus group?
I actually answered that for Jonathan earlier, but I sent it to just the panelists because, apparently I don't know how to leverage technology. So yeah, to answer that one, what we're going to do here is that's something that we do get asked for a lot, and we brainstorm the best ideas on our masterminds weekly. And that's something that absolutely would be a good mastermind topic. So we'll see if we have time to get enough people prepared for, sharing that one for tomorrow's mastermind. If not, the following Wednesday, we'll definitely run something that's a little bit more specific to what to send, what's working. And again, it's sharing wins. If other people are winning, then there's an opportunity for me to win using some iteration of that same idea. So absolutely, we can discuss that on our mastermind meeting tomorrow. And that's for any StreetText current member in trial, part of our ecosphere. Come in and ask to be part of our ecosphere. We'll put you in there and you'll be invited to the mastermind.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're at time. I'd love to hear any final thoughts. Marcus, why don't we start with you?
Well, this is the perfect time to prepare for the new year. So you're looking at 2 months left. Holidays are right around the corner. This is where a lot of people put their foot off the gas. This is the time to put your foot on the gas. So if you are looking to be an influencer on Facebook and Instagram, check out StreetText. There's a free trial. Your ad spend isn't free. So let's make sure we're doing everything we possibly can to not spend it unwisely, but focus on the follow-up behind it. And that's what StreetText is here for. Check us out. It's free for as long as you need. We don't hold you to 7 days. We just say, come and see, and we'll give you as much time as you need before you become a full member.
Love it. Thanks. Logan.
Yeah, I mean, same kind of idea. Come try it out. If you, it doesn't matter how 2021 went for you. I don't care how 2020 was. Obviously, not care isn't the right word. We do care, but what we care more about is making 2022 and beyond the best years that you possibly had. And there's no reason why, every year shouldn't be your best year in real estate. So let us help you.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for a great set of information. And I just want to reiterate, we have a free 7-day trial. And I'll also say this, I don't know if you guys brought it up or not. I don't think we heard it, but during that trial, we'll even give you coaching, right? So it's not just here, try this thing and hope you can figure it out. They'll literally have a coach walk you through, teach you how to run ads and understand the whole thing and get it all set up, because it's not just a great product, it's a system, and you're going to have to learn a little bit. And that's one of the things that I love is they actually have people who will talk to you, and it's not a support email back and forth, real human being, real live, and it's super helpful as you go through that. But and like both of these guys said, as far as I'm concerned, 2022 starts in about 15 days. So get working on it today.
Started 15 days ago, Brian.
Yeah, there's different philosophies, but I'm with you. So, but the activities that you're doing right now and moving forward, that's when the fruit's it's gonna happen in 2022. So if you haven't started thinking about it, you're behind the curve, and get on it. And StreetText is a great place to do it. So also, if you found value in this and you want to watch the replay, it will be on the LabCoat YouTube channel. Sign up. Talk to these guys. It's a great opportunity. Appreciate everybody being here this afternoon, and hope everybody has an amazing rest of their week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.